Hello, everyone, and welcome to an exciting episode of Nickabenson Nerd News. Yo, if you guys enjoy this video, make sure to like this video and also make sure to smash that subscribe button. It's very helpful to the channel, and as always, we have plenty of content for you guys to explore. Whether you're into the vlogs or some of the stuff that we've been doing with Dragon Ball Z, as well as Skullgirls or Yu-Gi-Oh! Feel free to hit up this channel and some of our related channels as seen to the side. Now let's jump right into the news, as we had a lot of news today. Yo, we got to see a trailer for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, showing off some solid combos by the girl Gamora. So Gamora seems to have this playstyle that's very similar to like Dante from Devil May Cry, where she utilizes guns and blades in a barrage of attacks. She even can create a shadow duplicate of herself in order to deal double damage. And I find myself being even more hype for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite than I was before. Once again, these combos were absolutely beautiful to see, and I can't wait to see her in some tournament gameplay. Moving forward with today's news, because we have a lot to cover today. Inhumans, we actually got to see a trailer drop for the Inhumans, which of course is going to be an ABC television series. Originally was going to be a movie for the MCU, but instead is going to be a television series that will premiere in theaters with an IMAX extended, like, first episode pilot kind of thing. The Inhumans trailer seemed kind of interesting. It has a Supergirl feel right now when it comes to how characters are portrayed and how they're doing costuming and stuff like that. I just kind of get that feeling off of it. And while I'm not the biggest Supergirl fan, I really like the political conflict that's being positioned. You can tell that there's like a struggle for power, and that's something that I really enjoyed out of Luke Cage. Now, again, it's funny that the two shows that I really see myself comparing Inhumans to are two shows that I really wasn't a big fan of. But to be honest, the aesthetic appeal of Supergirl isn't really a negative thing to have for your show. And then the political conflict of Luke Cage was like my favorite part of Luke Cage. So having those two elements together, I feel like is a very solid combination. I just hope that the delivery and character portrayals are solid, and I really can't have a full opinion of Inhumans yet until I check out the pilot, which I probably will see in theaters in IMAX. Moving forward, Bright. So Bright is a movie that's going to be coming to Netflix December 22nd, I believe. And what's really cool about it is that it is a buddy cop film starring Will Smith in a world where magical creatures exist. And I feel like this is wonderful. It's been a while since we've had a classic Will Smith buddy film, you know, like Bad Boys, Wild Wild West, Men in Black. And you really get that like classic Will Smith level of humor. He honestly looks the youngest he's looked in a long time, and I'm actually really excited to see what they do with Bright. The trailer was actiony, funny, interesting. Will Smith plays a legitimate character, but you can still really feel that it is good old classic Will Smith. And I'm actually really hyped for Bright. I'll probably do a review of it once it comes out and I get to actually see it on Netflix. But it's done by the director of Suicide Squad. And I know for a lot of people that may sound like a turnoff, but this seems like a Suicide Squad kind of thing. And a lot of people are saying that the director of Suicide Squad was held back a little bit by executives over at Warner Brothers in DC. So this, with him working with Netflix, we believe will be him being able to have more creative control over the film. So I honestly think that the Suicide Squad director will do a great job with Bright, and I feel like Bright will actually be a pretty solid Will Smith movie to put up there with the other films I listed, like Wild Wild West, Men in Black, etc. Moving forward once again. So if you're into Dragon Ball Super, you've probably seen this poster before. We're about to get into some Dragon Ball Super spoilers, so watch out, spoiler alert for that. But alongside this poster image, which was shown once again in a Japanese magazine, there was a little excerpt that's been translated by fans that mentions Goku's tense back and how something terrible is going to happen. And a lot of people believe that this is foreshadowing for events that'll take place in the Universal Survival arc, which is the current tournament arc that's going on in Dragon Ball Super. And a lot of people believe that this spoiler is leaning toward the idea that the tournament may get interrupted, similar to how the tournament was interrupted back in Dragon Ball Z, which was the start of the Buu arc. So a lot of speculation is going on around this. My personal opinion is that something really crazy is going to happen in the tournament, whether that is the tournament being interrupted or maybe just character betrayals in the tournament or something like that, is what I'm thinking may happen. Again, that's just my speculation. But what do you guys think? Post in the comment section below what you think this very vague spoiler may be referring to. Also, we've gotten more Dragon Ball Super spoilers coming in now. We've gotten spoilers leaning toward the idea that Kale, Caulifla, and Goku will be teaming up against Jiren in Dragon Ball Super Episode 101, which, if you guys have heard some Dragon Ball Super spoilers for previous spoilers for other episodes, we all thought that Kale was going to get knocked out of the Tournament of Power by Jiren. But based on this episode 101 spoiler, a lot of people may be rethinking that spoiler to not be that Kale got knocked out of the tournament arena, but rather that Kale may have been knocked unconscious or even just knocked out of her Super Saiyan Berserker form. So if that's the case and she wasn't eliminated or disqualified from the tournament, or maybe if she was physically knocked out of the arena, maybe she somehow was rescued by like hit or something, so she didn't like fully fall out and get eliminated from the tournament. We'll be able to see Universe 6 and Universe 7 Saiyans not only collide in an episode before episode 101, but see them work together in episode 101. It's interesting because I don't remember, and I may be wrong on this, from the spoiler, them mentioning Kaba working with them at all. I don't remember hearing that. So why is it that Goku would be working with Kale and Caulifla but not with Kaba? Now, this may lean to another Dragon Ball Super spoiler that indicated that Caulifla was going to ask Goku how to obtain Super Saiyan Blue, or ask if she can be trained by Goku to obtain Super Saiyan Blue. If that's the case, they could essentially be like having a temporary truce where Goku may be helping them possibly train their skills. Maybe not to get all the way to Super Saiyan Blue, that's a really big jump, but maybe to boost their skill level up just a little bit, and working together in order to combat a common foe. So that could be really cool. Now, why wouldn't Kaba want to get on that? Maybe he's interacting with Vegeta or some other character in the tournament. Who knows? A lot of speculation. Please take everything, including the spoilers themselves, with a grain of salt. And let's move on to the next crazy news bit. One Piece is getting a live-action television series. This image right here is not from the series. This is a One Piece cosplayer. But essentially, the television series has been announced, and it will be a live-action One Piece television series that is true to the manga. Now, One Piece is one of the biggest anime in Japan right now, and it has an ongoing manga and anime that are just stacking on and on, continually going. The anime has literally hundreds of episodes and is still building forward with its story. So for the television series to now just be in development is crazy, because I imagine it'll take a significant period of time for the television series to catch up to where we even currently are in the anime, let alone with the manga. So it's interesting to hear that we will be getting a live action series that will try and keep up with it. And I hope to see the series develop over time. I personally have never watched One Piece, but I would give the live action series a chance to see if I may like it more in that medium or not. What do you guys think about One Piece getting a live action series? Make sure to hit me up in the comment section below. Yo, next up when it comes to television series, this is kind of different. Essentially, they're going to have a Young Sheldon series on CBS. So Young Sheldon will follow Sheldon from Big Bang Theory as a child and what his life was like with his family and in school. I watched the trailer and I did laugh a few times. Sheldon is really the focus of the humor and how he interacts with the world around him and how the world around him reacts to him. So I can see potential in the show, but I'm not sure if young Sheldon is really gonna like hold audiences over. And with CBS's track record with shows, I could see young Sheldon maybe having a cult following, but inevitably being canceled. What do you guys think in the comment section below about young Sheldon and its eventual fate? Also, we have some terrible Batfleck news. So Ben Affleck's Batman, we have heard, is going to have a graceful exit from the DCEU. So news is saying that they're going to try and gracefully have Ben Affleck eventually leave the cowl of Batman. And there's also been a lot of talk about a Nightwing movie and them working on that. So I think the graceful exit is not necessarily because they want to like phase Ben Affleck out from the role of Batman necessarily. I feel like they like him in the role. This is my speculation, of course, but I feel like the reason why they're trying to gracefully phase out Ben Affleck is because they may be planning to have Dick Grayson take up the cowl. We can tell that we've had a Batman that's been through a lot already in the DCEU, and they maybe want to make a film that's like the beginnings of a Batman or a developing Batman. And the only way to really have a developing Batman story is either with prequels that show Batman grow and get to this point, or with having a new Batman entirely take up the cowl. And I think that may be what they're trying to do, leaning toward maybe Dick Grayson taking on the cowl of Batman after like a possible successful Nightwing movie or something. Also, Robert Downey Jr. has been talking about how he does want to eventually stop playing Iron Man before it gets embarrassing. I feel like WB saw what Robert Downey Jr. was talking about and are deciding ahead of time, how are we going to phase out Ben Affleck as Batman? So again, I feel like they like his performance, but they're just trying to do something interesting with the story and try and show a developing character taking the role of Batman. And more superhero movie news, Spawn. Spawn is going to be getting another live action film that will be directed by the actual like creator of Spawn, McFarlane. And I'm actually pretty excited for that. I've never been a big Spawn fan personally, but to see Spawn in live action once again and to see him get reimagined, essentially reimagined as in like put into live action in the modern day, because there already was a live action Spawn film back in the day, seems really cool. So I do want to see what they do with that. I wouldn't mind watching the old Spawn film first and then maybe doing a video where I compare them. What do you guys think about that? Post in the comment section below so I can get your feedback on whether or not you'd want me to do so. And also, what are your ideas about them making a new Spawn film? Do you feel like there's been enough time between this and the old Spawn film for them to like try it again? Do you think modern special effects will play an important role in the new Spawn film and why it took so long for it to come back? Really love hearing your feedback, so make sure to smash that like button, hit the comment section below. Next up, Young Justice news. So we have Young Justice Outsiders images here, and they're showing off the brand new Young Justice lineup. And there's actually a lot of information that we can talk about in concerns to the new Young Justice Outsiders images. So first, let's point out the characters who we have not seen before. So we have Arrowette, we also have Tracy 13, and we have Spoiler. So each one of these characters has a common feature, and that's that they are a female character who in the comics has been shown to be a love interest for another character. Now, Arrowette, you probably would look at her and imagine that she could be a love interest for Arsenal. But actually, I don't think they're going to take it that way. And the reason why I say that is because Arrowette, I looked at her DC Wikia article slightly. I didn't go in depth. And I need to bust open my DC encyclopedia in order to find Arrowette and really read up on her. But based on looking at like the first quote mentioned in that article, she is a love interest for our boy Impulse, who of course has taken up the helm of Kid Flash. By the way, Young Justice spoilers, most def Young Justice spoilers. So Kid Flash and Arrowette have been paired in the comics before. Of course, as Impulse, it was shown that like she had some kind of crush on him, so we could possibly see that in the show. Tracy 13, I had to read up on her, but I was actually pretty interested in her. Like I said, for Arrowette, I was just trying to look for that common feature of like, who could she be the love interest to? And as soon as I found that, I kind of like clipped out. I wasn't too into her. She kind of seems like a replacement Artemis, considering the fact that Artemis and Wally have more or less retired. Artemis more retired than Wally. But Arrowette is connected to Impulse as a romantic interest. Then we have Tracy 13, who is a urban magic user. So a big part of what she does is that she can connect to cities and like feel the flow of magic through the city. She can see magical creatures that other people may not be able to see, that are kind of invisible all around us. Very similar to Juniper Lee. If you guys ever watched that, it was Cartoon Network's attempt at doing a show like American Dragon Jake Long. So Tracy 13 even has like a pet iguana. I'm not sure if it'll be in Young Justice Outsiders, but it was a pet iguana that she could talk to, and she could use her magic to transform it into a dragon. Now, her romantic interest is Blue Beetle. She even rejects joining the Teen Titans in the comic books because she thought it would be awkward to be on the same team as her boyfriend. And we even see in the poster that they position these two characters next to each other. Now, you may be wondering, if the poster is trying to lean toward the idea of them two being in a relationship, why would they put Arrowette next to Arsenal? You know, I would argue that they put Arrowette next to Arsenal because it gives you that idea that like, oh, they're both Archer characters. You know, there's a thematic element to it. They both have red costumes, so their costumes kind of like pop off of each other. And it could make people assume things about Arrowette, right? So it may, in my mind, it seems like a red herring. It seems like a thematic choice to put the two more like Archer weapon-based characters next to each other. But I feel that they still are going to lean toward Arrowette and my boy Kid Flash being together. But they may try and approach the idea of Arrowette and Arsenal in the show. But I feel like if they do, Arsenal's antisocial personality will kind of push them away. And then she may lean into Kid Flash in the future. Talking about Spoiler, the next new character who's going to be on Young Justice. So Spoiler, aka Stephanie Brown, is a very interesting character. She's one of the only canon female Robins, or at least she was a canon female Robin before the events of the New 52. But essentially, Spoiler is a Bat family friend who helps fight along with other members of the DC universe. And she has ties to some DC villain, but she splits off and kind of becomes a hero. Stephanie Brown is a big fan favorite, and I'm sure a lot of people are very happy to see Spoiler in Young Justice Outsiders. Spoiler had romantic connections with Tim Drake Robin, so I see them maybe becoming a thing. Now, what's interesting about that is that we have Wonder Girl, and at the end of Young Justice Season 2, Wonder Girl and Tim Drake Robin became a thing. They like developed a relationship. So if Spoiler and Tim Drake Robin were in a relationship in the comics, then how are we going to have the Wonder Girl thing pushed through? I think the Wonder Girl Tim Drake romantic tie, like relationship thing, is going to like tear down. I feel like the Wonder Girl thing was a spur of the moment thing. They did it because of the loss of a great friend, and they just kind of were doing it spontaneously. But now, after like time has passed, they may realize like, hey, it's not that you're not a cool person, but we're just not a thing anymore. So, you know, they just kind of split off. So I think that'll leave a position open for Tim Drake and Spoiler to enter a relationship with one another. Now I'm going to transition over to this picture, and we're going to talk about this Static Shock redesign. So Static Shock, of course, as we all knew if you finished Young Justice Season 2, became a member of Young Justice. And now Static Shock, by the way, this picture is not better. It was like more zoomed in, but it wasn't clear. Static Shock has become a full member of Young Justice as of the end of season 2, and now has a new redesign. He has his hair in cornrows. He has this sleeveless vest over like a black shirt with these fingerless gloves. It's a really cool design for Static. I personally like him with the dreads, and they gave him a baseball cap before. I thought that was really cool. But I'm not upset by this redesign in any way. I feel like it shows that Static has really grown since we last saw him, and we get to see how he's like developing into more of his like own heroic character and identity. So tell me what you guys think about some of the new characters they've introduced in the Young Justice Outsiders. Make sure to post a comment below. And I will definitely read over your comments. As you can tell, I have a lot of speculation when it comes to how they're going to do love interest in this next coming season of Young Justice, and I'm definitely going to watch it and look over it. If you guys want me to do reviews for Young Justice Season 3, hit me up in the comment section below. I would be very interested, but only if you guys would want to see it, of course. Moving on, Injustice 2 showed us some combos of the girl Starfire and what she could do, including her special move. Ever since Flash's special move, no one's special move has been flashy enough for me. She's one of the 3 DLC characters that were announced alongside Red Hood and Sub-Zero, and we've already got to see Red Hood and Sub-Zero in action, so it was about time that we got to see the girl Starfire finally revealed from the shadows. So Starfire's design, if we're going to talk about that for a little bit, her face kind of has like this Rihanna look to her, because Injustice uses a lot of like realistic facial models, at least Injustice 2. And you can't really tell in this picture, but as I saw her in her introduction trailer, her face, it really has that like weird Rihanna look to it. I'm not sure if I'm the only one who sees that, but like that's what I think when I see it. Anyways, when it comes to her combos, she can use her hand beams as kind of like hand swords. The beams are so long and they go forward only to a certain point. So sometimes when she moves her arms around and fires off these beams, it feels almost more like blades than they do like actual swords. And we get to see her use them to juggle opponents. She has a lot of flying abilities and can even keep herself in the air momentarily in order to do combos. But I really like her as a possible juggling character. And she even has a slow projectile that can be used as a timed explosive. So I feel like there's a lot of combo potential there. You could definitely juggle opponents into the air, then use your slow timed explosive to catch them on the way down. You can fly up into the air, hit them with a barrage of beams from above, and then come down and then juggle them back up. So I could see Starfire being a solid character in Injustice 2. How do I compare her to other characters that we've seen so far? I don't necessarily see Starfire as being like top tier shit. But she's definitely going to be somebody's main. Someone's going to definitely find themselves attached to Starfire and play her regularly. But whether or not she is a tournament favorite or not, we'll just have to see over time. And that is the last bit of nerd news we have today. Tell me in the comment section below, what part of the nerd news did you find the most interesting? And what are your thoughts on the different topics that we discussed? If you love this video, make sure to like this video, favorite, comment, subscribe, and thank you all once again. Have a wonderful day, and more videos are coming soon. This is Jet Black, logging out. Thank you.